Look at Europe's highways, and you'll see them everywhere. Those big, badass Scania trucks turning heads with that distinctive Griffin logo. But try spotting even one on American roads. You can't. Weird, right? So what's the deal? Are they actually banned? Is this some conspiracy where American trucking companies are pulling strings behind the scenes? Maybe there's some shady backroom deals going on, keeping these Swedish beasts off our highways. Well, the real reasons are way crazier than what most people think. Stick with us, because we're about to break down 7 shocking reasons why these incredible machines are basically illegal here in the USA. By the end, you'll know the full story that no one's talking about. Now, before we get into it, make sure you like this video and subscribe to this channel so you'll get to see more videos like this one. Now, before we get into why Scania is missing from America, you gotta understand what makes these trucks so damn special in the first place. Scania started building railway carriages back in 1902 before shifting to trucks. That Griffin logo is now like the Ferrari emblem of the European trucking world. It screams quality. In places like Sweden, Germany, and throughout Eastern Europe, Scania isn't just a truck. It's a freaking status symbol. Their V8 engines especially have reached almost mythical status. When a Scania V8 rolls by on European highways, everybody knows that company sprung for the premium option. Now, we'll never forget the first time we saw a Scania R730 V8 at a truck show in Germany. The sound alone had crowds gathering around it. That distinctive rumble isn't just noise to European drivers. It represents power, prestige, and engineering excellence. Now, they've built this reputation over decades, becoming part of Europe's trucking DNA, which makes their complete absence from American roads even more mysterious. So let's break down what's really going on. Reason number 1. Strict US rules on pollution and safety. Now, the biggest reason you don't see Scanias cruising down I-95 comes down to rules. Super specific, incredibly strict rules. America has its own hardcore standards for emissions and safety. The EP and DOT basically control what's allowed on our roads, and they don't mess around. Scania builds all their trucks to meet European standards, which are totally different from ours. For them to sell trucks here, they'd have to completely redesign major components. We're talking engines, exhaust systems, lighting, and safety features. Practically rebuilding the truck from the ground up just to pass our inspections. Now, this isn't some quick fix. It's years of redesign, millions in testing, and mountains of certification paperwork. Let's break it down. The US follows EPA standards, while Europe uses their Euro standards. Both are trying to cut pollution, but they focus on completely different stuff in different ways. European rules hammer down hard on nitrogen oxide emissions, while US standards obsess more about particulate matter. This means the entire engine management system has to be different. Now, the crazy part? An engine designed for European standards might actually run cleaner in some ways than American engines, but still fail our specific tests. Now, here's something wild. European trucks like Scania use a totally different emission control system. Instead of the DPF, or diesel particulate filter, and those annoying regen cycles American trucks use, many Scanias use SCR, or selective catalytic reduction. Now, this means no regen cycles that burn extra fuel and force drivers to pull over. American truckers absolutely hate regens on their trucks, but they are stuck with them because of our specific regulations. Another thing most people don't realize, in many ways, European emission standards are actually tougher than ours. Scania trucks meet Euro 6 standards that are insanely strict about certain pollutants. They just approach the problem differently than American manufacturers. Even the testing process is completely different. In the US, manufacturers go through long EPA testing that takes years and costs millions. Scania would need dedicated departments just handling American compliance. Now, beyond emissions, safety regulations are a whole other nightmare. Headlight design, mirror placement, visibility angles, everything's different. Things that are perfectly legal and safe in Europe won't pass inspection here. So why would Scania spend hundreds of millions redesigning their trucks when they're already crushing it in Europe, South America, and Asia? But here's the conspiracy theory part. Could these rules actually be designed to protect American truck brands from outside competition? Are regulations really just about safety and clean air? Or is there an invisible wall built to keep companies like Scania out? Now, these regulations are mind-blowing, but wait until you see how truck design plays into this whole story. Comment below, would you drive a Scania if they were available here? Reason number 2. Different truck designs. Flat face versus long hood. Look at any Scania truck and you'll spot the difference right away. Scanias have flat faces. The cab sits right on top of the engine. All European trucks look like this. They're shorter, turn easier, and work great on narrow European streets. But here in America, totally different story. American truckers love their long hoods like Peterbilt's and Kenworth's. You know the ones. Big stretched out front end, drivers get more room, better comfort, and mechanics can reach the engine easier. Plus, our highways are huge. We don't need to worry about tight turns or space like Europeans do. Now this ain't just about how they look. The whole driving field changes. American trucks put the engine in front of the driver. More space between you and whatever might hit it. Better in crashes. More room for those long cross-country hauls. Funny thing is, flat-faced trucks used to be common in America back in the 70s and early 80s. Back then, rules limited how long your whole rig could be. Shorter cab meant more room for your trailer. Then the rules changed. They only limited trailer length, not the whole truck. Boom. Long hood designs took over fast. Americans don't prefer long hoods just because of tradition. These designs make sense for our endless highways. Driving coast to coast? You want that comfort and space. With thousands of miles of open road and fewer city deliveries, the long hood just works better here. So here's the problem. Scania makes flat-faced trucks. Americans want long hoods, and building a completely new design for just one market? Well, that would cost Scania a fortune. But maybe it's deeper than just design. Could it be that American truckers are just too loyal to their brands? Is the Scania looking just too foreign for our roads? Well, here's something most people don't know. In Europe, flat-faced designs aren't a style choice. They're required. European laws make the whole truck and trailer fit in a shorter total length. Here in America, we mostly just limit the trailer length. The tractor can be as long as you want. That's why our long hoods work so well here. For Scania to make it in America, they'd need to design a completely new truck. Now that's a huge gamble for a market that might not even want them. Scania isn't the first European truck maker to eye the American market. Volvo and Mercedes both made it here, but not easily. Volvo's story is pretty clever. They just bought white trucks back in 1981. Instant dealer network. Ready-made factories. Even then, it took years to get American drivers to buy their trucks. They had to completely change their designs to match what Americans like. Mercedes did something similar. They bought Freightliner in 1981. Instead of pushing European-style trucks, they basically became an American company with European owners. The trucks they sell here look nothing like what they sell in Europe. Even Volvo trucks in North America look completely different from their European models. They switched to long hood designs and built trucks specifically for American tastes. So, history shows us something important. The only way European truck makers succeed in America is by buying American companies and adapting, not by bringing over their European designs. Scania probably looked at this history and thought, not worth the hassle. Now these design differences are wild, but wait until you hear about the money problems keeping Scania off our roads. If you're digging these trucking secrets, hit that like button and subscribe for more videos that tell you what the big companies don't want you to know. And don't go anywhere, because reason number 3 might be the craziest one yet. Reason number 3, the crazy cost of getting into the US market. Breaking into the American truck market isn't just hard, it's wallet-bustingly expensive. For Scania to sell trucks here, they'd need to spend millions just to make their trucks meet our rules. But that's just the start of their money problems. They'd also need to build a complete dealer and service network across the country. Think about it. Parts warehouses, repair shops, trained mechanics, sales teams in every major state. Now without all that, no trucking company would risk buying their trucks. For Scania, the math just doesn't add up. They already dominate Europe, South America, and parts of Asia where their trucks work perfectly. But could it be that the cost is kept high on purpose, making it almost impossible for outsiders like Scania to compete here? Well, let's talk about some real numbers. To build a decent dealer network in America, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. You need at least 150 to 200 dealerships spread across the country for good coverage. Each one needs inventory, trained staff, special tools, and parts storage. Add in the massive marketing costs to make Americans even recognize the Scania name when Peterbilt, Freightliner, and Kenworth have been household names for decades, and you're looking at a mountain of cash that would take years, maybe even decades to earn back. Need proof? Look at what happened when Caterpillar, an American company everyone knows, tried to get into the highway truck engine market. Despite being a huge American brand with mountains of cash, they eventually quit after spending billions. If an American giant like Cat couldn't make it work, imagine how tough it would be for a European company like Scania. Reason number 4. no dealer and service network. Now, even if Scania somehow cleared all the rules and brought their trucks here, one huge problem remains: no dealer and service network. American trucking companies need easy access to parts, repairs, and support. Brands like Freightliner, Peterbilt, and Kenworth have huge networks in all 50 states. Without that, no fleet owner would risk buying a truck, no matter how good it is. Breakdowns happen, and downtime costs serious money. Scania would need to spend years and millions setting up dealers, service centers, and training programs just to compete. And here's the thing: why would they do all that when they're already making bank in other parts of the world? Now, some people even suggest that without an established network, new foreign brands are at a clear disadvantage by design, making the market almost impossible to crack. Now, there's also the tech challenge. Scania would need to train an entire workforce of mechanics who'd never seen their trucks before. American mechanics know American trucks. Different layouts, different diagnostic steps, different repair methods. Retraining that workforce would be a massive undertaking. Then there's special tools. Modern trucks need brand-specific diagnostic equipment and special tools for many repairs. Dealers would need to invest tens of thousands of dollars in new equipment just to service Scania trucks, with no guarantee of enough customers to make that money back. The service network problem is a real deal breaker. But the next reason, American trucking culture might be the toughest barrier of all. Now, if these trucking secrets are blowing your mind, smash that like button and subscribe for more hidden stories from the trucking world. The next reason might be the most surprising one yet. Reason number 5: American trucker pride and brand loyalty. Let's face it, in America, trucking ain't just a job, it's a way of life. American truckers have crazy love for their home brands like Peterbilt, Kenworth, Freightliner, and Mack. These names don't just mean trucks, they mean American tradition, toughness, and straight-up pride. Scania walks in as some foreign brand with weird-looking trucks and different driving feel? Good luck with that. Most American drivers want their big-nosed trucks they've trusted forever. Jumping to some strange truck, even if it's awesome, just ain't happening easy. Now, there's a whole culture of pimping out trucks in America, all built around our brands. Hit up the big truck shows and you'll see chromed-out Pete's and Kenworths everywhere. These truckers have clubs, magazines, and even some meetups, all centered on American trucks. Some European company can't just walk into that scene. Look at our movies, music, everything. Smokey and the Bandit, Convoy, all that stuff. Country songs talk about Peterbilts and Kenworths like they're family members. This stuff runs deeper than what truck pulls better. It's about being American. This trucker culture thing is a wall that foreign truck makers can't climb easy. Volvo's done okay, but it took them decades, and they still don't have the same love as American brands. Now, here's something most folks miss. In America, tons of truckers own their own rigs. Now, these aren't company drivers, they're small business owners. That changes everything about how they buy trucks. Now, these owner-operators see their trucks as part work tool, part personal statement, like serious pride of ownership. Many dump thousands into chrome, custom paint, wood dash panels, and killer sound systems. American trucks are built knowing guys will customize them. Huge market for add-on parts. European trucks like Scania? Well, they're built to be work tools for big companies with lots of trucks. Super efficient and practical, but not really made for the guy who wants to make his rig uniquely his. Now, that feeling runs deep. Owner-operators won't easily jump to weird foreign brands with different looks. Scania would really need to get this personal connection thing to have any shot in this part of the market. Reason number 6: political and trade BS. Now we're getting into the really juicy stuff. There's no law saying no Scanias allowed. But man, some folks think there's shady political trade crap going on behind the scenes. America has always protected its big industries, and trucking is huge here. American truck brands make billions and hire thousands of workers. So maybe certain taxes, tariffs, or complicated rules quietly make it super hard for foreign companies like Scania to play ball. I mean, think about it. Every extra hoop they've got to jump through adds cost. The game is rigged, and in global business, countries look out for their own. Is it really just about safety and clean air? Or is there some unspoken deal to keep outsiders, especially those successful European brands like Scania, off American roads? I mean, look at the chicken tax. A 25% tax slapped on light trucks back in the 60s that still screws with the market today. While big rigs have different taxes, this shows how trade rules can block foreign competition for basically forever. Trade deals often have sneaky stuff that helps American companies, like Buy American rules for government contracts give American truck makers a huge edge when selling to cities, states, or the feds. Now those contracts mean big money that Scania would have a hell of a time getting. Even the approval process plays favorites. Foreign companies often find their paperwork moving slower through the system than American companies, making everything more expensive and time-consuming. And let's talk about lobbying. American truck companies have politicians on speed dial and armies of lobbyists in D.C. They can shape rules and trade policies to help themselves and screw over potential competitors. When foreign companies do break into the U.S. market, they usually end up building factories here and hiring American workers to avoid looking like they're stealing American jobs. Scania would face pressure to build here rather than import, which adds massive cost to an already nightmare situation. Now the political stuff is wild, but wait until you hear about Scania's own game plan. If this inside info is blowing your mind, smash that like button and subscribe for more videos that tell you about what big corporations don't want you to know. Now our final reason brings all of this madness together. Reason number 7. Scania's own business choice. Now here's the simplest reason Scania trucks aren't on our roads. They don't need us. Scania dominates Europe, where their flat-faced designs work perfect for tight roads and strict emissions rules. They're killing it in South America, Asia, and parts of Africa too. For Scania to focus on these markets just makes more sense. Coming to the US would mean huge costs, tough competition, and completely rebuilding their trucks to match American tastes and laws. Why spend billions when they're already making bank elsewhere? In Europe, Scania is like the Cadillac of trucks. Top shelf, reliable, fuel-saving beasts. Shifting focus to the US could stretch them too thin. We talked to a guy who used to work at Scania, and he told us straight up that Scania sees way more growth potential in places like India and Brazil than in the crowded American market. Now, these areas already dig Scania's design style and don't have such deeply rooted competition. The company thinks their money is better spent where barriers are lower and potential rewards are higher. Looking at Scania's moves over the last 10 years, it's obvious they're doubling down on markets they already dominate in and pushing into growing economies. They've built huge factories in Brazil, China, and India, while basically ignoring North America. Plus, the truck world is changing fast with electric and self-driving trucks coming. Scania is pouring money into these new technologies instead of trying to break into new countries. Their focus on green trucking and next-gen tech shows in what they're building. There have been rare exceptions, like one special R770 that made it to America on some special permit for testing and media purposes. But that took mountains of paperwork, custom stickers, and a team of expensive lawyers to navigate the legal mess. No regular person or company could pull that off. So maybe it's not about bans or barriers alone. Maybe Scania just chooses to stay king where they already rule. So, is Scania actually banned in the USA? Well, the simple answer is no. There's no specific law keeping Scania trucks off American roads. But bringing a new Scania to America means jumping through so many impossible hoops that it might as well be banned. In rare cases, it can happen through special exemptions. As I previously mentioned, one Scania R770 recently made it to America with a special sticker reading exempt under 40 CFR from emission standards and related requirements. This means it was here on a manufacturer's exemption for testing and media purposes. This took direct work with Scania's executives and a team of expensive lawyers to cut through a mountain of red tape. The truth is, Scania trucks aren't banned because they're bad. In some ways, they're actually better than American trucks. Many Scania models don't need those annoying regen cycles that American truckers hate. They have advanced safety stuff like curtain airbags, emergency braking with radar, and disc brakes on all wheels. European emission standards are actually tougher than US standards in some areas. Scania trucks have more advanced safety systems than many American trucks. Things like lane departure warning, adaptive cruise control, advanced emergency braking that can spot pedestrians, and side curtain airbags. American truck makers are only just starting to add these features. Scania's engine tech is seriously impressive too. Their latest engines get amazing fuel economy while meeting super strict emission standards without losing power. They've developed smart features like intelligent cruise control that uses GPS and maps to optimize engine output based on upcoming hills, saving fuel on hilly routes. But the reality is, with all the different regulations, design preferences, money barriers, cultural factors, and business decisions, it just doesn't make sense for Scania to enter the American market. The mountain they'd have to climb is so high that the view from the top probably isn't worth the effort. Now, at the end of the day, Scania isn't locked out. They're simply choosing not to play a game stacked against them. But now the big question: would Scania trucks survive and thrive if they ever went all in on the US market? Would you rather drive a sleek, high-tech European Scania or stick with an American Peterbilt or Kenworth? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and subscribe for more truck insights that dig deeper than anyone else. Also, let us know what other trucking mysteries you'd like us to explore in future videos. Until next time, keep on trucking.